Well, hello and welcome to the Bowtie Gardens. I am Bowtie Dave, and it is June 25th and time for the June 2023 garden tours. Every month we come down to the end of the month and we do garden tour of the full property. We have a 1/4 acre in Destin, Florida, mere blocks from the Gulf of Mexico, mere blocks from the Choctawhatchee Bay, which I am finally think I'm getting it down to pronouncing it right. Choctawhatchee is the name of the bay. And so that's just a few blocks that way, about 7 blocks that way and 7 blocks that way is the Gulf. But anyway, we're in a very moderate zone 8B, mere one county away from zone 9. And the weather is typically quite beautiful here. It's really been a growing paradise for us here, Mrs. Bowtie and myself, and we try to grow as much as we can. I like to focus on edibles. There's a few things out here that are not edible. Those zinnias that you saw me deadhead over here and spread seeds over here, I'm always doing that, spreading those seeds around and trying to get that diversity throughout the property. I have zinnias in a few different places, but that's one of my favorites, and we'll be adding more flowers as the years go. This is just, we have not even been here 2 years yet, so we have just done most of the annuals and smaller plants since we moved in here. The trees that you'll see around and the blueberry patch were both here when we got the property. But, well, actually, most of the trees, first thing I did was put in fig trees, and you'll see those on the tour as well. But when we got here, this lawn you see in front of us was just green, all green. And we've been trying to kill grass as fast as I can because grass and I do not have a good long-term relationship. So I do like have some grass. We need to have some grass, obviously, so we can make compost for our gardens. Everything I do here, I try to do either organically or as organically as I can. I try to do as much no-dig as I can, though that doesn't always happen, I'll admit. I do occasionally spray some neem oil or BT, which are all organic and registered organic. And so we try to keep our property clear that way. So anyway, like I said, I've been doing this several months now, over a year, coming up on a year and a half, I'm very excited to say. But we are about to embark on the first of 3 parts of the garden tours. We always do the front and side gardens first, and then we do the outer beds, and then we do the raised beds in the back. And I like going through. Now, the reason why I do this, the first and foremost reason that I do this, is because this is my log of what's going on in the garden and what's happening, and so I can have a progress. And for a perfect example, the crepe myrtle trees up here. I was worried that maybe the cold that we had over Christmas might be slowing down the development of the crepe myrtle flowers. Well, I went back and looked at last year's garden tours and found that the crepe myrtles come out in June and July. And sure enough, you're going to see here in a little bit, the crepe myrtles are just starting to flower. They're starting to look beautiful. If you live here in Destin, you know the crepe myrtles that are on the eastern end of Legion. They always come out after those come out. So I saw them starting to flower and I got a little excited, and that's when I went back and looked at my previous year's garden tours and discovered I was worrying needlessly because they're gonna get here when it's their time. So anyway, we'll cover that, and there's some new things in the garden. If you watch our other videos, you'll see there's some things that you already know about. There's a few things that you may not know about, even if you watch everything. I've done a few things around that you'll get a sense for that as we get going here. But all that being said, let's get on with it. Hi, I'm Bowtie Dave. So every month I always start with the southeast corner of the property and look at the zombie chip pile, wood chip pile that just will not go away. Yes, I actually dig stuff out of it. I use it in the beds, and then it just mysteriously grows again by me acquiring even more wood chips. So I've still got to get to that, and I do occasionally. But right behind that on this side here is the strawberry patch. Now the strawberry patch doesn't look as full and as lush as it did. We are coming up on more heat days, and you can see there's gaps in there, and there are weeds coming in. I need to come in here and clear up some grass that's encroaching a little bit, but for the most part they're doing pretty good. There's dollarweed down in here. There's also occasionally even strawberries to eat down in here, which taste just amazing, of course. And so we have the Walmart seed strawberries on the back edge back here. We have back here and over here Ozark Beauty strawberries. And then somewhere down in here we have the berry, some kind of berry. I got the tag right here. Oh, it is the sweet berry. Thank you. That's why I saved the tag, because I cannot remember stuff. Hence the reason for this channel, so I can remember. So the strawberries are looking a little peaked. I think it's interesting, this one pomegranate tree that's left here, its shadow is the only lush piece of strawberries in here, and kind of makes me wonder if maybe I need to do some small trees throughout here to make this, to help this grow better. We did lose that pomegranate most recently, and then there's a third one back here that we lost as well. It is suffered and has diminished. That pomegranate there is the only one remaining. I'm a little bit worried about it because the front side of it is looking a little bit peaked up on the tip, up here on the tip, but it does have a pomegranate on it. So you'll see here later, we actually have a whole bunch of pomegranate trees in reserve. We have, so yeah, here we have basil, and this is a flowering basil. The bees love it. I don't see any bees right here right now, but we do have plenty of bees around here. And up here we have 2 jalapeno peppers, and despite what I do with this guy right here, it just seems to struggle. Now I do notice we have some weeds through here that we're going to have to take care of. Oh, there's a bee down there in the jalapeno. And there's also a few jalapenos. We actually have been harvesting decent from these. They're good jalapenos, but this one here just seems to struggle. So up here we have a 25-gallon bag of mint. One of these days I'm going to start breaking up that mint into multiple grow bags because it helps to keep the squirrels at bay. It's also supposed to help keeping the rats at bay. Not a complete cure, but does a pretty good job. And so, you know, that's all we can hope for. It's nature. We try to work with nature. And so you may notice we're missing all of the garlic bags that we had here. The garlic, of course, has been harvested. And we have our 2 fig trees back in here. This fig tree still kicking. This is the one that's, I thought it was dead 4 times now and just keeps coming back. This one here has been my steady grower, and one of these is going to end up in the ground here pretty soon. So this Plumaria over here, it was given to me by a friend and looks gorgeous. And I did notice, looky here, for the very first time, we actually have a flower head coming up. I cannot wait to see what this does. That is just purely excitement. It's exciting for me. That's just, wow, amazing. Moving across the driveway to the slight north, under the sycamore tree, we have our chrysanthemums here, which are really on their decline. We'll come through here with scissors and clip off all the, I've been deadheading it, but there are so many deadheads in here now that you can't even keep up. And so what's going to end up happening is I'll come in here with scissors, cut these all off, and these will have another flush of color come pretty soon. Give it a month or two and you'll see these are full of color again. In fact, you can see here, see all the brown in here, but look right up underneath here. You can see there's new buds trying to come out. And so it will do that. It'll have a few flushes during the season. Our growing season is long enough that I've seen 3 or 4 flushes of flowers come out on these. Not these plants in particular, but friends of mine who have had these. Our front hedges, another love-hate relationship, need serious trimming. They also need some work in the area of vines. And these vines that grow up inside here, a lot of them have tubers, and I will very carefully follow them down into the ground and pull the tuber along with them with my hori-hori. This is my common vine for this year, which I have been fighting the most. But I will follow it down and find the base. There's another one over here I see. They might be the same plant, I don't know. When you get down there, pull the bottom out, and then I yank it out from the bottom. A lot of times it'll pull things like this, 3 or 4 of them out of the plant. So it's pretty efficient, but the boxwood over there is obviously needs the less trimming, though I do see a vine growing up out of it. But all these azaleas and ligustrum, there's a ligustrum down at the end over there. There's a ligustrum right there next to the bird feeder that needs to be filled. But those and the azaleas definitely need the most attention. So here behind the sycamore tree, we have the back pollinator garden. And this is mostly zinnias. There have been other things in here. In fact, we still have. If I come around this corner here, there is a big amaryllis kind of peeking up through right there. And it has already flowered for the year, I believe. But there it goes, and its bulb will continue to grow. We got a lot of zinnias in here. I just love taking these zinnias, the dead heads like this, and we'll spread it somewhere else just to get diversity throughout the garden. The Thai plants over here, one there, one over there. There's 4 total here. I've got one more that I've decided is going to go right here in this corner, so we can have an odd 5 through here, odd 5 plants. They are coming back strong. They were killed back by the freeze at Christmas this year, the very unusual freeze for us. So they appear to be coming back just fine. So I did just cut the grass recently, which is why the grass looks so good. In fact, we're going to go up here to the front pollinator bed, spread some of these zinnia seeds. This is really, literally, how easy it is to spread these zinnia seeds. And see, this is just what's left of that flower. And I will come around here, and I'm looking at the wind. The wind is kind of blowing the other way, so I need to go up on this side. And I'm holding this carefully because it is just about to fall to pieces. And watch as I spread this. It will just spread out over the bed. We do live amidst 2 airports, a few Air Force bases, and a helipad, so we do get a lot of air traffic like that. So anyway, we'll come back to this as far as what's going on there. The fig tree, this was the first fig tree that got planted in the garden by us. And this comes from the Perkins fig tree, which is some friends of ours from church, the cutting, and it is on its 3rd year, and we have actually eaten figs off of this. So we're hoping that next year this thing will be ready to produce big time. We've kind of got it groomed down here the way we want it to, and the right branches and everything. And over here next to this, around the windmill, of course, you'll see up there the artichokes, Golden Globe artichokes. But last year we had the sunchokes over here, and they were actually in the ground, and so we're still competing a little bit against sunchokes. In fact, these right here, if I dig down just a tiny bit, I might be able to, oh, what is that? I have no idea what was in here. It makes me wonder if there is a sunchoke in here. Or is this just a big weed? Oh, there it is, sure enough. Look at that. One little sunchoke root. Didn't produce all this. I'm guarantee there's more in there than that. This is all sunchoke root here. So there was obviously someone dropped a sunchoke in here. Look here, see, that's sunchokes, real small ones. Those will grow up somewhere between the size of a tennis ball and a baseball and become a wonderful root. We actually had a whole series on those. But look, it actually grew out the bottom and out the side. There's got to be another. Oh, yep, there it is. Looky there. There is a sunchoke root in here, which is an edible root. It is a perfect replacement for potatoes for diabetics. It does not increase the blood sugar content. That is actually part of it right there. That's where that grew from. Interesting. I've been seeing that grow out of that pot. I didn't know what it was. Mrs. Bowtie's pansies, obligatory pansies. She likes to have her purple pansies in the garden. And here we have an orange bell, and I'm actually going to harvest this little orange bell right here. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? That is gorgeous. I'll put that in my shirt pocket. Little yarrow here, just blooming up crazy. I planted this from seed last year. It got put in the ground this year, and it is a perennial that should give us flowers for many years to come. You can see I've cleared the ground around here a little bit, as well as around the green globe artichokes. I'm a little worried about these guys over here. I'm worried that they are not getting the water they deserve, and so I'm actually planning to put another very small irrigation head right here in the middle of these three that are kind of suffering, so that we can see if we can get these to produce a little better, because I really would like to see artichokes coming out of these. And the artichokes, of course, is a flower bloom, so that would be fun to have. Mrs. Bowtie and I both love artichokes. So anyway, you can see we kind of, the sunchokes from here, you can see there's a post over here. You can almost see there's a post in the middle right there, right here. And there is a post on the right side. We've done kind of a Florida weave to help keep these things vertical. It's going to create a big screen. Last year, these things grew to over 12 feet tall. So some of these are the shorter ones at about 6 to 8 feet. Some of these are taller ones closer to 12 feet. So I'm going to end up, I actually just got new posts to go in here, 3 new posts, and we're going to fix this thing up right so it holds up better. So just beyond that, of course, is the front pollinator garden that we just spread some seeds around. And I save, when I deadhead these, sometimes I will just go ahead and spread them around, and then sometimes I'll take them inside and I have a tray inside that's full of them, and I would just keep collecting them, and they'll be the starts for next year. So we have, those are zinnias up there. There's a whole bunch of nasturtium, but we're getting into the hot days of summer, so they're not really thriving very well. These are supposed to be California giants, I think, is what they are. More zinnias, and the zinnias at this point are just a mix. This is the second year I have planted them, and I literally just take them, spread them out, and so that we get this really nice variety of zinnia everywhere. That big thing that looks like a weed, that is, of course, the angel trumpet, and I don't know if it's going to flower again. I believe it's going to flower again. It might need to. It might need a month or so to recover, or maybe to get cooler weather. I'm not sure yet. We've already had some beautiful blooms. I did a short on that, and worth watching if you looking at it if you don't know what a angel trumpet is. It's beautiful, beautiful flower, though it's very short-lived. However, it's supposed to give its flowers over and over and over. A couple more yarrow down in here. Of course, we have our water lilies down here from Jana's dad, and they're growing and they're okay. I'm trying to keep the weeds back from these. It's in the shade, but I don't expect much to happen with these until the weather gets a little bit cooler. Now, if I come down here a little bit closer, I think, no, this is a Mexican rough clover, I'm pretty sure. There's another Mexican rough clover. Now, Mexican rough clover is the one that looks a lot like zinnia until they get about this big and they start to fork off like this. Zinnia. Now here's the interesting thing. Zinnia, the leaves will actually come together like this in the middle, but they'll stay together like that. The Mexican rough clover, which is a weed for me, is what this is, and I basically just let it grow a tiny bit bigger before I go pull it. But you can see here on this zinnia exactly what I mean. Here the leaves are staying together right here in the middle, and they do that and they stay that way. The Mexican rough clover actually will start to separate out. Zinnias are beautiful. Coming up here we have Egyptian walking onions, which are walking as much as they can. As I've said before, this little head gets heavy, it goes down in the dirt, and it will grow new plants, and it just spreads itself. It'll walk across your garden and make a field of onions. These are great for green onions. We've used them in cooking. We will dehydrate them sometimes and make onion powder out of them, which is pretty good. Of course, the sycamore tree is in full leaf, and being the nasty little tree it is, I love it because it's a tremendous amount of shade, but it also drops its leaves, which I also love because it gives compost, brown matter to your compost. And then of course over here, the crepe myrtle. Now I know there's people out there who have love-hate relationships with crepe myrtle. I like my crepe myrtle, and you can see here the flowers are starting to come out. And this thing will be beautiful. There's a whole bunch of flower heads in here that will be pink through into July, and through July I should say. We're at the end of June right now. So the crepe myrtles are looking good, looking beautiful, and yeah, so you can see the grass is freshly mowed, looking beautiful. The doomed decorative pear tree right here, it bloomed for about 4 days this year, and even at that it was pretty lame. It didn't do much. Cedar tree down over here, it's doing okay. Coming up over here with the shade cloth, the archway here. Now, if you followed along, you know that this shade cloth played host to my sugar snow peas. Mammoth melting sugar snow peas, and of course they grew up real tall, gave us quite a few sugar snow peas. We didn't get as many because I got them in late, but we have the beds all ready. Next year this one will be a lot better. However, I've already taken those out because they start failing when the heat starts coming. On the outsides though, I did have onions and basil. And in fact, you can see here, we're going to harvest a couple of these onions. These things, notice the neck is real soft. That means these onions are ready to harvest. And there's a bunch of them through here. These are some kind of a yellow onion. This is Mrs. Bowtie's favorite onion to cook with. Now we'll go ahead and take these into her and get these stored somehow. I think we may have a few more to harvest here, so I went ahead and grabbed a harvest bucket, which I've got on my waistline here. Oh, here's a big one. For what I've been growing, that's not bad. I feel like I'm missing. Oh, there it is, right there. There's another one. I think we got a couple on the other side too. These are basil in here. Some of these basil I've been trimming, some of them I have not. Ooh, there's a nice one. Very nice. That may be the last one. Thought I had another, but I've been pulling these onions as we've been using them. I was sure I had one more in here. I'll come in here and clean things out. There's a nasturtium there. Nasturtium help with keeping the slugs down. Feel like I'm missing an onion right in here somewhere, but I don't see it. So that may be it. So more basil, of course. This is Genovese basil. And if we come into the middle of the archway, first off with the shade cloth, it's a 50% shade cloth. This particular one is 10 foot by 16 foot. I'm sorry, 10 foot by 20 foot. The archway here is 17 foot long, but it really does a great job of keeping it cooler inside here. Now we do have, looky here, you see this right here? This is Bluelake Stringless Pole Beans. And we have some on that side, some on this side. Now this end of the archway gets more shade than the other end down there. So we'll have to see. This is purely an experiment, but I do see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 of them coming up along here. The other side over here doesn't look as strong. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 8. 8 of them on that side, maybe 9. I think that might be a 9th one down there. But they're already starting to grab on. You can see, look at this one over here. It's starting to grab on and starting to grow up the trellis. So sugar snow peas needed a little help. This is a little high, and Jay Dixon kind of got me squared away. I shouldn't have had it so high. I was a little confused, but anyway, so now down here we actually have our Roma tomatoes. Now this is the sunnier end of this archway. So out here in the sun, and the tree from the sycamore tree, which is right above us, the edge of it, the shadows, you can see the shadows ending right there. And it actually does get pretty good sun in here. I do need to pull that shade cloth over. In fact, I'm gonna go around here and fix that real quick. I try to keep this as uniform as possible. I need to create some kind of wire mechanism that will keep it here on the end of the pipe, so it'll just get a little bit more shade during the day. So we have 8 Roma tomato plants here. Mrs. Bowtie is hoping for a lot of sauce this year. Some kind of tomato sauces. That's a mint. This is a chocolate mint here, which is the only mints we have been seeing so far. All the mints on the front yard now are chocolate mint. I intend to create the backyard to all peppermint, except for the stray mountain mint and spearmint. So up here we have the asparagus patch, and you can see this is an asparagus plant right here, and it's come up with flower stalk. It's also come up with all these ferns. This is a relatively new plant. This is only in its second year. I planted it from seed last year, and I actually planted several, but this is the only one that survived so far. All those little green flags you see in there, those used to be asparagus, but not anymore. Another jalapeno plant that looking kind of wimpy. It has some decent jalapenos on it. Look at these. There's a whole row of jalapenos right there. Beautiful. So the Pindo date palm, which is this palm tree right here. Look at those dates right there. In fact, let me see if I can get the zoom out here and zoom in up there. Having a little trouble here. Nope, that's not it. I can't see it because of the sun. There we go. That's all dates right there. Pretty amazing. Back here behind the date palm, we have the grapefruit tree, which is looking worse. It doesn't look that great because of the Christmas freeze we had. It's working on growing back slowly but surely, and it's doing a decent job of it. We are going to lose this one back branch back here, which is going to give it an unusual shape. Not sure what I can do about that, but we're going to get what we can out of this. It's going to make it a little lopsided, unfortunately. Our dead Satsuma orange tree right here, and then the live Satsuma orange tree past it. Now this dead Satsuma orange tree has a graft, and below the graft it's growing something else out down here. And so we might be doing something on grafting here. I'm not sure what we're going to do with this yet. So here in the side yard, of course, we have the grape arbor, and I am so excited because we have grapes this year. This is our second year with this arbor, and Not a lot of grapes, but we have some. And we're going to, I've been testing them. Ooh, that's starting to get soft. There's more up here. There's little tiny clusters all over the place. But I mean, this is just the first year it's ever produced. So I am ecstatic that we're getting that much out of it. Thought we had another bunch. Oh, here they are. Another bunch down here. So kind of keeping an eye on these. We'll look for bigger clusters next year. But yeah, this is our grape arbor. Looking very good. We're getting back here in our seedling area. Of course, the onions are looking fantastic. They really should be in the ground. In fact, I'm going to be putting some of them in where we just took those others from. So some of these onions, though, look crazy big, ready to go. All our peppers in grow bags. We have Fatale back there. I see a Scotch bonnet and a jalapeno. I know there's a peri back over there somewhere. We have citronella growing in here. We have poinsettia still growing. More Scotch bonnet. Look at the jalapenos on this plant here. These are looking beautiful. Look at this big guy right here. Man, that's gonna be some good stuff right there. More jalapenos back there. Giant Chinese giant bell pepper. Orange bell here that is not doing very well. This is a mountain mint that I was talking about. A tray of miscellaneous, I don't know what they are. We'll have to find out. Another citronella. I got a few citronella spread out in here. And of course that brings us back to the end of the front and side garden, and that is the blueberry patch. Now the blueberry patch is past its prime for the year. We harvested, I'm pretty sure we harvested over 20 pounds. They are not nearly as sweet as they were. That one's hanging on. I don't even see any good berries that are out here to harvest and try. But we did, I think we might have gotten about 20 pounds out of this patch here. But last year we got 31 pounds. We were a lot more proactive about harvesting last year too. So this year I had to take a trip up north, and not as much got harvested by us. We had friends come in and harvest themselves blueberries, and so that's the story on the blueberries. So that's the front and side garden tours. Every single time it seemed like it went pretty fast, so and I'm always wrong too. Hopefully it wasn't a whole hour of garden tour where things are happening. Still have a lot of reserves and seedlings that I need to do stuff with, which I really enjoy having the extra seedlings, because if I need to fill in somewhere, I got stuff to fill in somewhere. So I got a bunch of Thai hots and dragon cayenne down there right now that I really need to get going out there. I don't think I have enough, but I also have some more tomatoes that I could put out. So we'll have to see what I can do with all that. Anyway, we've had some interesting weather this past month. I'm going to talk about that in the beginning of the outer garden bed tour, which I'm going just right over there to start here in just a few minutes. It does take me a while to edit these videos, so I'll get this front and side done first, and then I'll be editing that next section right after that. But I do want to promote, we are shooting a special video on Sunday, July 2nd. We're going to be taste testing some different ingredients for fermented hot pepper sauce. And I think Mrs. Bowtie is arranging for us to do a blind taste test of a few different ingredients in the fermented hot sauce that I like to make and I like to eat every single day for health reasons. So that's coming up right in this mix of videos with the 3 parts of the garden tours. So keep an eye out for that. Please subscribe to Bowtie Life so you don't miss it, because I don't know exactly who. I think I said we're going to have cousin Bowtie Brett. I'm not sure he's going to be able to make it, but we're going to have somebody coming and taste testing fermented hot pepper sauce with different ingredients and trying to figure out what the best ingredient is for the fermented hot pepper sauce that I like to make. And I have a lot more hot peppers now that we're going to be fermenting for the next round, for round 6. We've got 3 full quart jars fermenting right now. They could come out anytime in the next week or so, and they're beautiful. They're the same mix I've been doing all along, but we're going to start doing individual flavors. So keep an eye out for that video too. So be sure to subscribe not to miss any of the fermented hot pepper sauces that we've got coming out. So we're coming down to the end of this video. Like I always say, please subscribe. The subscriptions help grow the channel. The watches help grow the channel. If you've already subscribed, thank you so much. You helped get us to where we are so far, and I do appreciate that more than I can say. So we've got a ways to go, but we're going to do it. And if you've found this at all informational, educational, inspirational, or just entertaining, please click the thumbs up on this video and share it on your social media with your friends who also like to garden. And I like to think that something I've put out here has created some inspiration for someone, or some information, just something that can help in your own garden. And I love hearing in the comments below. If you've seen something in any of my videos, please comment. If you've had experiences like I've had, and if you've discovered something, that's like the biggest thing, because if you've discovered something that can solve a problem that I'm having, oh yeah. In fact, we're going to be going in here to the outer garden bed tours here next, and I've got a couple of problems. So yeesh, gotta get things fixed up. Trying. Anyway, so that's the front and side garden tour. We'll be doing the other two parts of these monthly garden tours right after this, and don't miss them. Don't miss out. So yeah, I'm going to talk in the first part of the next video. I'm going to talk about our very interesting weather over the past few months, or past few weeks, I should say, because this is the monthly garden tour. June has been very unusual. Our weather has been, to say the least, very unusual. We've only been in this area for 6 years, but we talk to people who have been here for decades, and they've never seen June like this. And if you look back at the records, there hadn't been, in living memory, there hasn't been a June like this. So anyway, as always, have a blessed day.